What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be back. I feel like I've missed you guys for a little bit. Today, of course, I am providing a market update. It's been a little bit since I have given you guys some ins and outs and kind of giving you an update of what I'm seeing happening in the market. So we're going to go back and review April numbers. We're also going to look at what's happening so far in May. I'm going to give you a quick update as far as some changes to future home structures. Our city council has passed a new ordinance that could kind of mix it up a little bit, which I don't know if that's good or bad. We're in a tough market right now, so this may not be the time to mix it up, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, so make sure if you guys are, PCSing or moving to the Central Texas area, or if you know someone, give them my contact, follow down below, follow me on social media. All my handles will be down below. Let's get in contact. Let's chat. If you have some questions about the area, I've been here for long enough, probably too long. Make sure that you reach out to me. I'm happy to kind of give you some ins and outs and tips of places to eat, churches to visit, or, whatever the case may be. So let's get started. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's see what's happening in our market. All right, you guys. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is April numbers. So we're going to backtrack a little bit since I did not provide an update for April. So what I've pulled up here is our market viewer, and this is available for Texas realtors. And so what I've pulled up is the Fort Hood Area Association. But anyway, we're looking at Killeen right now. So these are Killeen numbers. Now, I know a lot of times we have a lot of people kind of relocating here and they're like, oh, it's, it is less expensive compared to the bigger cities, but our price tags are definitely going up and we are feeling the pinch as a military town. As an agent, it's been really kind of, it's been tough having buyers. Sellers, of course, they're cashing out. But even as a seller, please keep in mind that, when you're selling your home, especially if you're going right back into purchase, I want you to make the most amount of money possible, but I also want you to just be considerate of others at the same time. It's kind of a delicate balance. Both parties have their own objectives. The buyer, of course, wants to feel like they're getting a good deal for the most part, even though a lot of times, depending on the home, they may be going over, but they don't want to feel like, they're just kind of getting bent over the barrel. At the same time, sellers are trying to get the maximum amount of money because it's a seller's market. Um, but I just hope that people will still kind of be human and, just take things into consideration. It does not mean that you get to price your home at any type of price range. Actually, we're seeing somewhat of a shift in certain areas. And so I'll kind of talk about that a little bit more. But let's look at this number. So our median price range is 230. And I say that really kind of conservatively a little bit because trust me, a lot of our homes are well over that. But we do have, we are still an area where you can still get homes, 200 below, or like this mid 200 range, which is really good for a lot of families because, once again, we are a military town, or people relocating, or if you're just, depending what you do, you want to have your home, but definitely live in it comfortably. So for the month of April, we're looking at 259 closings, which is up 21% from last year. So that's really good. Active listings 108, and that's actually down a little bit. So, active versus closed is a different number. Active just means the homes that you actually have available, and closed are actually like the homes that, obviously both parties have transferred money, all of that closed and funded. It's official. Months of inventory, we still have less than half of a month, which is not good. Typically in a healthy market, you want to have a couple months of inventory. So right now, we are still very much in those competitive times where good homes or, like more popular homes, they're seeing more than one offer. So I, definitely tell buyers right now, I want to be upfront right out the gate. I don't want to be, discouraging, but at the same time, depending on the price range, depending if they have additional funds, to kind of make a stronger offer. And if you don't, like, that's totally okay. Sometimes it's the first offer, sometimes if it's sixth offer, everyone's journey is going to be a little bit different on your home search. So by all means, never get frustrated with that. Hopefully have a realtor that's, communicating with you, that's being honest with you. And only thing you can do is just place your best offer, and, whatever happens after that, if you get the offer accepted, awesome. If that means you continue your home search, then, so be it. It's okay. So anyway, we see that we have less than half a month worth of inventory, and that's actually down. Days in market, it's 20, which I know sometimes people will initially look at that and be like, oh, I thought it was a seller's market. That's a lot of days. There's a lot of different factors that go into that. If the home is priced, I see a lot of homes that are actually on the market, but they're tenant occupied for like the next 9, 10 months, even a year. And so those clearly, those are going to sit in the market. Those are going to be pretty much only focused on investors or potentially conventional that, may still be investors, or someone that's conventional, but, maybe has like a longer time frame. VA does need to be at their home within 60 days after closing. So please keep that in mind. If you're VA and you're kind of looking at homes that are tenant occupied, make sure that that tenant is going to be out, so that way you can occupy your home within the allotted amount of time. Days to close 29. And so that's actually really good. So a lot of lenders and title, everyone's working super hard to make sure deals can close in a good amount of time frame with it being competitive. That's another kind of key thing in an offer is like, when is it going to close? A good offer for the most part, it's going to be that 30-day mark. I know sometimes people will say like 30 to 40 days. 40 for me, like 40, 45, like there's probably some sort of hiccup that happened along the transaction. Appraisal came in kind of late, something happened. But for the most part, everyone's trying to get those deals closed within a month, basically. That's just, for the most part, that's usually going to be the goal. So we kind of see the median price per square foot looking at 132, average home size a little over 1,600 square feet, home built 2005. Now this close versus original list price, we still see that, we're still competitive, which is good. We know we're not seeing crazy amounts over. It really, like I said, it really depends on the homes. Let me tell you, homes that see some money over. Pools, especially here in Texas, it's summertime. If it's an in-ground pool and if it's, well-built in-ground pool, that immediately adds crazy value to a home. So if you're looking to, make a good investment into your home, pools, kitchens, bathrooms, those are going to be some gold mines right there. Especially if you live in a place like Texas, everyone wants a pool. Pools are more maintenance, so always keep that in mind. If you purchase a home with the pool and you haven't had one before, speak with someone, get some pricing. That way, it's not a shocker when you realize how much it does cost to maintain that pool. So anyway, there's a quick recap for the month of April. Let's jump forward to May. So I've gone ahead and just kind of pulled some numbers, and we're going to look at listings sold so far. Actually, this is like for the last 7 days. So this is, we jump straight into it. So for the last 7 days, and this is including Killeen, Harker Heights, Nolanville, and I believe Copper's Cove. I kind of bunched them all together because if you're local, like all of our cities kind of like span together, we're in this together. I don't know. I think I was trying to sing a song or something. That's not the words for it. But anywho, so average price range is looking at 277. So, that's above that number that we just looked at. But then again, the numbers that we just looked at were just for Killeen. So we are including a few more cities in this average. And that's also a good point. Like I was saying, like, even though the other one was saying 230, our average price point is, new construction or resales, there's definitely tipping up there. You can, like I said, still get homes, under 200 or, that low 200 mark. If it's a nice home, be prepared that there's still probably going to be, more than one offer on it. We are in summertime, so this is prime time moving, especially for military towns, because everyone's trying to get, settled in before the kids start school back in August. So keep that in mind. If you're a seller, it's definitely a good time to sell. If you're a buyer, you're probably trying to get everything, moved and packed up within a couple months before kids start and, stuff starts to get a little bit hectic again. So anyway, our average price point is looking at 277. Now, with that, you have your minimum $80,000 home, which is probably some sort of like flip home or, home that needs some sort of renovations or something like that, kind of depending. And then you might have a max of 615. So there's a very big, range there. We have $800-900 million homes here as well. And then of course, like we have, beginner friendly homes or, homes that are more targeted towards investors. So we've got everything in between, and these are just the average M numbers. And as you see, the last 7 days, we've had 25 listings, and that's over all those cities, which is still good. So we are seeing more homes, slowly start to trickle into the market, which is what we really need. I still think it's going to be a while before everything kind of starts to balance out as far as demand compared to the amount of sellers that are coming, are selling the homes versus the buyers. So it's still going to be a little bit of time before everything kind of starts to regulate itself. I often tell my buyers, if you like the home, there's a very good chance someone else likes it too. So, just kind of have that mindset. I've still run into, a lot of people that they're like, well, I don't want to pay Uber. I don't want to do this. And that's totally understandable. Like no one really wants to pay additional money. We're just kind of in an aggressive market still. I don't think it's quite as bad as previous in most counts. I do have like a fellow agent had like 30 something offers on our home, and that's right here in Killeen. My latest listing, I think we had like 6 or 7 offers. So, it really just depends on that home, really. What it's offering, like I said, if it has pools, it's guaranteed to go over just about. Granted, the rest of the home is pretty decent. People will pay extra money for pools, and that's more perceived value than necessarily like the home is actually valued at that, but people want that pool, so they usually pay for more or pay more. So anyway, there's a little bit about that. And so we're going to go back to active listings. So that was sold. And so now we're looking at active listings. Why did they both say 25? Oh, you know what? I think I pulled like the first page and it was like 25 on both of them. So we'll just kind of take a quick, look at some active listings. So average looking at 240. And that's just for, the week. So stuff can, like literally right now, I could go pull it in about 10 minutes and another listing could pop up and, those numbers could fluctuate just slightly. So now we're averaging, 240, the minimum 114, maximum 410. So once again, there's a very big window, as far as those numbers go. So always keep that in mind when looking at averages, especially because we've had a lot of people coming here from different places. People are trying to just venture out, get some places that are more affordable. Everyone's getting hit by inflation and rates, and we're going to talk about that right now too. So that's going to start to change the market as well. So for this week, and you can go right to FreddieMac.com. This is completely open and available to you. Primary mortgage market survey right now, 30 years looking is averaging, 5.3. And, there's that 15-year in the other one, but most people are getting 30-year mortgages on their homes. So right now we're averaging 5.3. And I know that's really scary compared to what a lot of people have seen as far as, back a year and a half ago when people were getting like 2 and 3%. And it's like, oh, rates are crazy high. Well, they are higher compared to what we've just seen, which were historic lows. They are still low in a sense, but of course, over history, over time, real estate is kind of a cycle industry. So, there have been times when it was average for 7, 8, 9, 10%, so 5% is still low, although I do understand, everyone wants to have the lowest interest rate possible. And so having it at 5% now seems like, a punch in the gut a little bit compared to where it was at, especially if you were a buyer or someone that was waiting till the market got better and now it's not quite better, or, maybe in your area it's kind of slowed up, but now interest rates are higher. So, it didn't really help you necessarily. And so I think as agents, like we've all kind of seen buyers that, maybe had to recalibrate kind of their price range. Unfortunately, because if you've been searching for a while, if you're pre-approved at one amount, but then interest rates pop up 1%, you're going to have to get a new pre-approval. And if you haven't, then please do check with your lender, get a new pre-approval, make sure your numbers are still solid, because you don't want to get under contract kind of under false pretenses of, an outdated pre-approval letter that was at, a much lower interest rate, and now it's at 5 or 5.5 or something like that. Because that will affect your payments, and you need to know that. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that. Let's see. And the next thing that I want to talk about is, new construction. In our area, we've seen a lot of new construction, which is really good. That's what we need. I will say, even with that, it's still not quite, we still haven't quite met that demand and supply yet. So we're still in a competitive range, but we are seeing new construction come up. Unfortunately, with that new construction, we are seeing those price ranges come up quite a bit too. And that's really the tough part, with it. And a lot of them are having, depending on the builder, some of them have appraisal waivers that they've attached to them, which I think is something that's really been implemented the last couple of years, because, appreciation has been hitting, has been going up so rapidly, and cost of materials and all that, their prices are going up, and sometimes their prices are going up before they appreciate it. It was just kind of some craziness going on. So, some companies do ask for appraisal waivers. Of course, if you are VA, there aren't appraisal waivers, but it doesn't mean you won't have issues with appraisal, because builders are less likely to come back and be like, hey, okay, we'll sell it for less. They'll just put it back on the market. So keep that in mind. There's a difference, there's pros and cons to resale and construction. So make sure you always kind of talk that out with your agent if you're kind of leaning towards both. Now, the good thing is with new construction, depending on the builder, because I deal with my buyers, if it's something that they're open to, and we can kind of get them under contract at a new construction without any bidding, of course, that's always awesome. Granted, the timeline and all that kind of applies. Now, the thing is, for the others, some builders are going up fairly quickly. I do think like Deer Horton area, it seems like every month or something, they have a new price change. And some of the other builders too, I don't know, it just seems like I've kind of seen more of theirs. And that's really tough because, these were homes that have gone up, 80 or 90,000 just within the last year and a half or something, which is crazy. It's a little crazy. But going back to one of the changes that the city has made, and you can also check this out at Killeen Daily News. So recently there has been an ordinance change by the city of Killeen. And so what this directly kind of affected is going to be the front facing homes with garages or snout homes. And so in order to create kind of a more appealing and open concept for the area, they didn't want, so many cookie cutter homes. They didn't want people to drive through, and it just kind of looked, I guess, uninviting. They changed the regulation for the garage facing homes. And so, there still will be homes with front facing garages, but they want them, I think, to be a little bit bigger on the front side. So it's not just like, jam-packed right there, or, it could push some builders to have to do side garages, which, usually those side garage homes are kind of like those, those next level homes or kind of midlife homes or something, kind of depending. But of course, like if it's your preference to have a front facing garage, then, I hope that does not stop the consumer from actually getting what they want based on an ordinance change because of a perceived, perception of what it may look like to others coming into town. So a lot of builders, this was something that was kind of in the works for a while, or it was kind of discussed, but, apparently the city of Killeen went ahead, or those, certain council members decided to push the ordinance forward. And so some builders did not really seem super pleased with that change, and some of them are trying to adapt. But for some of our big builders, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, simply because, that's going to change everything. As far as like their previous plans, especially for like, another one like Deer Horton or Stylecraft, that have these, majority of their buildings are going to be like those front facing garage homes because they built for more affordability, they're more of a volume builder. So to see how they're going to adapt to that change and, restructure their homes or to some capacity, one, is that going to change the price tag? Is that going to change the time that we already do not have because we are short on homes? So what is that really going to mean for the future of our, homes? Now, for some of the big builders, or custom home builders, it doesn't really, I don't think it's going to affect them quite as much unless that consumer actually wanted a front facing garage, or if by chance that, that floor plan or that schematics for the home, would have somehow been inside would have crossed like the previous parameters or whatever. But for a lot of those custom and bigger homes, I don't think it's as big of an issue. I think it's more going to be for those affordable, smaller homes that, typically would have been some of the bigger box builders. So like I said, you guys can, you can go through, read the article for yourself, kind of see what you think about it, leave a comment below. Is it going to be good or bad for the city? I understand the concept that the city members wanted to kind of push forward with it. I'm just kind of curious, will it affect affordability? And right now we're already, seeing heavy price increases, there's already shortages and labor shortages and all this type of things. I just don't know if it was really the best time for that, but we shall see. So overall, you guys, there's a quick update going on in the market. Now you kind of see the rates, you see what could happen in some of our structure changes. You see what's happened in April. You kind of got a quick glimpse as far as what's happening so far in May. It is still a hard market right now. We are near Fort Hood, which is still going to be our driving engine for the hopefully foreseeable future. So if you guys are moving to the Central Texas area, or if you have a friend or family, make sure you share this with them, get in contact with me. I have loads of, resources and materials to provide for you, relocation information, how to purchase your home if you're not quite ready. But if, I have like a year's plan, I've got it all. Just reach out to me and I will definitely help you. I also cover the Austin area. So, if you're heading up towards that way, reach out. I can still help you on that too. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.